Hi there, this is Grandma Laurie. Today's story is The Speediest Racer. Jinyoung was the fastest bicycle rider in his small town in the country of Korea. He would ride all over town, helping his father by delivering food from Dad's restaurant, helping the older ones with their groceries, and just generally racing around. Jinyoung never went slowly. If he could race down a hill and around a corner, he did it as quickly as he could. He loved the feeling of the wind in his face. Sometimes, when he thought no one was looking, he even took his helmet off because the wind in his hair was especially wonderful. When he wasn't riding around town or going to school, Jinyoung also helped out in his dad's restaurant. While he wasn't allowed to cut anything or do anything on the stove, he was able to finish the dishes off, making sure the plates were clean and everything was in order before delivering them to the tables. Jinyoung's dad was a fabulous cook, so the restaurant was always busy. When they got a day off, they would go to the park or ride their bikes together in the country. Jinyoung loved helping the neighborhood's older ones, especially Mrs. Kim. She lived a few houses down from Jinyoung and his dad. She made the best mochi, which are Korean rice cakes filled with ice cream, and would always have some ready for Jinyoung when he raced by. "Did you hear about the bicycle race next week?" When Jinyoung was helping her with her groceries. Jinyoung's head whipped around. "Bicycle race?" he asked. "Yes. Look at this." Mrs. Kim held up a flyer. Jinyoung could feel his heart racing at the thought of actually being able to race others. "I know you can win," said Mrs. Kim. "Thanks, Mrs. Kim," said Jinyoung after he took the flyer and hopped on his bicycle. Jinyoung raced home to tell Dad. Dad, can I enter a bicycle race?" Jinyoung yelled as he ran into the house. Dad looked at the flyer. "I don't see why not. It's on a day when the restaurant's closed, so I can be there. And it's just in the neighborhood," he said. Jinyoung hugged Dad and went outside to begin practicing. The day of the race arrived. As he sat at the starting line with all the other boys and girls from town, Jinyoung kept thinking about what Mrs. Kim and his dad had said. "You can definitely win the race." With that confidence, Jinyoung readied himself for the start of the race. "On your marks," said the announcer. "Get set! Go!" Jinyoung took off like a shot. Of course, his friends were also toward the front of the racers as they went through the town's winding streets. They raced up and down the hills, with Jinyoung always out front. Then, from the side of his eye, Jinyoung noticed a young girl falling into the street. "Oh no," he thought, "she's gonna get hurt." Jinyoung didn't even think. He pulled over to the side of the street and got off his bicycle. "Here," he said, holding out his hand. "You'll get run over if you're not careful." It was one of the girls from his school, Myung-yi. "Thank you so much," she said. As Jinyoung helped her get up, the other racers sped by. "But you're going to lose the race," said Myung-yi. "It's okay. It looks like you've skinned your knee," Jinyoung said, looking at her knee. "Here, hop on my bike and I'll take you down to the finish line where they can clean it and put a bandage on it." Myung-yi sat on the back of Jinyoung's bike and they rode down toward the finish line. As they entered the finish area, everyone was stunned for a moment to see the pair riding in last place. Then they started cheering and clapping. Everyone surrounded the pair as they crossed the finish line. The first to reach them was Dad. "What happened?" Dad asked. Jinyoung explained and Myung-yi added to the story. While Myung-yi was getting her knee checked out, Dad said to Jinyoung, "Even though you didn't win the race, I think you got the biggest prize. You helped someone without worrying about winning or losing. I'm very proud of you, son." Jinyoung had to admit, he was pretty proud of himself. This has been Grandma Laurie. I hope you enjoyed this story. I'll put a link to all the great illustrations in the description box below. Thank you.